Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly believed in yourself? Not just on the surface, not just when things were easy, but when everything was stacked against you. Because here's the truth, nothing changes until you change. Nothing moves until you move. See, most people wait for permission to believe in themselves. They wait for someone to validate them, to tell them they're worthy, to give them a pat on the back. But champions, leaders, people who make things happen, they don't wait. They decide. So everything in your life begins with one thing, belief. It's the foundation of success, the fuel behind every great achievement, and the one thing that separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. So most people don't fail because they lack intelligence, talent, or opportunity. They fail because they don't believe in themselves enough to take action. They let doubt, fear, and the opinions of others dictate their potential. But the truth is, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Belief is what turns dreams into reality. Every invention, every breakthrough, every success story you've ever heard of started with simply belief that they could do it even when no one else did. The problem is, most people don't trust themselves. They've been conditioned to seek validation from others. From a young age, they've been told what they can and can't do. They've been shaped by teachers, parents, and society. And over time, their own self-belief has been weakened by rejection, failure, and self-doubt. But here's the thing, belief is not something you're born with. It's something you train, just like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. The more you tell yourself you can, the more you start to act like it. And the more you act like it, the more you prove to yourself that it's true. Think about the most successful people in the world. What's the difference between them and everyone else? It's not that they were born special. It's not that they had more opportunities. It's that they refused to let doubt control them. They had the same fears, the same insecurities, the same struggles, but they chose to believe in themselves anyway. They saw themselves as capable, even before they had any proof. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, but it can also be your biggest enemy. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes, what if I fail? Guess what? You'll prove yourself right. Because the mind will always find evidence to support what you believe. It will seek out confirmation that matches your thoughts, whether positive or negative. But the good news is you can flip that script. You can choose different beliefs. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, you start saying, I am more than capable. Instead of saying, what if I fail? You say, what if I succeed? Instead of thinking, I don't have what it takes, you decide I have everything I need within me. And this isn't just about positive thinking. This is about reprogramming your subconscious mind. When you truly start to believe in yourself, your actions follow. You show up differently. You take bolder risks. You push through challenges instead of giving up. You create momentum that others can see and feel. And that's when opportunities start to open up. The world responds to certainty. People are drawn to those who have an unshakable belief in themselves because belief is contagious. When you walk into a room with confidence, people notice. When you pursue your goals with relentless conviction, doors start to open. Not because of luck, not because of talent, but because you're willing to bet on yourself when no one else will. So the question is, what do you believe about yourself right now? Are you feeding your mind with excuses, doubts, and limitations? Or are you telling yourself a new story? A story where you are powerful. A story where you are capable. A story where you don't need anyone's permission to step into your greatness. Your mind is your most powerful asset or your greatest limitation. It determines how you see yourself, how you approach challenges, and ultimately what you achieve in life. If you want to change your results, you don't start with your actions, you start with your mindset. Because until you rewire your thinking, you will always revert back to the patterns that have kept you stuck. Most people don't realize this, but their mindset wasn't something they consciously chose. It was programmed into them. From childhood, you were shaped by your environment, by your parents, teachers, friends, media, and society. You picked up beliefs about success, failure, money, relationships, and your own potential without even questioning them. Some of those beliefs serve you, but many of them limit you. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from going after something because of a subconscious belief? Maybe you've thought, I'm not smart enough, I don't deserve success, or people like me don't get opportunities like that. These thoughts aren't facts. They are just mental programs that have been running for years, and if you don't challenge them, they will control your life. But here's the good news, your mindset is not fixed. Science has proven that the brain is capable of changing. This is called neuroplasticity, and it means that with the right effort, you can literally rewire your brain to think in a way that serves you instead of sabotaging you. The first step is awareness. You have to become conscious of the thoughts that are shaping your life. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. What are you telling yourself daily? What stories are you repeating? What beliefs are driving your decisions? Most people don't even realize how negative and self-defeating their thoughts are because they've been thinking them for so long. But once you recognize them, you take away their power. The next step is to challenge those thoughts. Just because you've believed something for years doesn't mean it's true. Ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Who told me this? Is this fact or just someone else's opinion? Many of the things you believe about yourself were never yours to begin with. They were passed down to you by others who were operating from their own fears and limitations. It's time to break that cycle. Now, this is where real change happens. You replace the old programming with new empowering beliefs. And this isn't about just thinking positive thoughts and hoping for the best. This is about consciously feeding your mind with new evidence every single day. Affirmations are powerful, but they only work when backed by action. If you tell yourself, I am confident, but never put yourself in situations that build confidence, your brain won't buy into it. But if you tell yourself, I am confident, and take small, uncomfortable steps daily to prove it, your mind starts to shift. Rewiring your mindset requires repetition. You've spent years reinforcing old beliefs, so don't expect instant change. But with consistent effort, your thoughts start to align with your goals. You start to see yourself differently. You start to move differently. The doubts that once held you back lose their grip, and suddenly the things that seemed impossible before start to feel within reach. Another key factor in rewiring your mindset is controlling your environment. Your mind is constantly influenced by what you expose it to. If you surround yourself with negativity, negative people, negative news, negative self-talk, you will stay stuck in old patterns. But if you immerse yourself in growth, reading books, listening to empowering voices, spending time with people who challenge you, you create an environment where your new mindset can thrive. And let's be real, this isn't always easy. Growth is uncomfortable. Rewiring your mind means letting go of beliefs that may have been with you for decades. It means stepping into uncertainty, doing things before you feel ready, and trusting that you are capable of more than you've been led to believe. But if you're willing to do the work, everything changes. You stop living from fear and start operating from power. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. You stop settling for limitations and start setting new standards for yourself. Success is not built on massive action taken once in a while. It's built small. Consistent actions repeated over time. The problem is, most people underestimate the power of consistency. They think success comes from one big breakthrough, one lucky moment, or one perfect opportunity. But in reality, it's the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make every single day that determine where you end up. Think of it like this: if you improve just 1% every day, that may not seem like much in the moment. But over a year, that small improvement compounds into massive growth. The same goes for negative habits. If you neglect your health, slack off on your goals, or allow yourself to make excuses, those small choices may not seem damaging at first. But over time, they add up. And before you know it, you've drifted far away from the life you want. Most people quit too soon because they don't see immediate results. They start working out for a week, don't see a six-pack, and give up. They start a new business, don't make a profit right away, and quit. They try to develop a skill, struggle in the beginning, and assume they're just not talented enough. But the people who win in life are the ones who understand that results take time. They know that if they stay consistent, even when it feels like nothing is happening, the momentum is building beneath the surface. Success follows a pattern first. It's invisible. You're putting in the work, but you don't see the rewards. Then progress starts to show, but it's small. Most people get impatient here and quit, but those who keep going, they reach the tipping point where their efforts explode into massive results. Think about a bamboo tree. When you plant the seed, nothing happens for years. You water it, nurture it, and still nothing. But then, in a short period, it shoots up several feet almost overnight. Did it suddenly grow? No, it was growing all along, but the roots had to develop first. This is how success works. The foundation is built in the moments no one sees. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They focus too much on intensity and not enough on consistency. They sprint at the start, go on for a few weeks, then burn out. They think they need to do everything perfectly from day one. And when they fall off track, they quit altogether. But the secret to long-term success is not perfection, it's persistence. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when progress is slow. even when motivation fades. Look at any area of life: fitness, business, relationships, skill development. It all thrives on consistency. If you work out once in a while, you won't see results. But if you stay consistent, even with small workouts, your body transforms. If you save a little money each week, over time you build wealth. If you invest time daily into a skill, eventually you master it. The compound effect is always working, whether you realize it or not. The question is, are you using it to build yourself up or break yourself down? Because every decision you make, no matter how small, is either moving you closer to success or further away from it. There's no neutral. This is why habits are so powerful. When something becomes part of your daily routine and no longer requires motivation, it becomes automatic. And the easier something is to do, the more likely you are to stick with it. That's why the key to long-term consistency is to start small. Instead of trying to change everything overnight, commit to small, manageable actions. Because when you master showing up consistently, success is inevitable. Failure. It's a word that most people fear. It's the thing that stops more dreams than anything else. The moment people stumble, face rejection, or experience a setback, they start doubting themselves. They think, maybe I'm not meant for this, or maybe I just don't have what it takes. But what if failure wasn't a stop sign? What if it was the very thing pushing you towards success? Because the truth is, failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every person who has ever achieved anything great has failed. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. The difference between people who succeed and those who that successful people never fail, it's that they don't let failure stop them. They see failure for what it really is: feedback. It's a lesson. It's a test. It's the universe asking, how bad do you really want this? Most people are conditioned from a young age to fear failure. In school, failing is punished. We're taught that mistakes mean we're not smart enough, not good enough. But in the real world, failure is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're trying, that you're growing, that you're pushing beyond your comfort zone. Think about a baby learning to walk. When they fall down, do they stop trying? Do they say, maybe walking isn't for me? No, they keep getting up again and again until they master it. And at no point do their parents say, well, you fell too many times, I guess you'll just crawl for the rest of your life. Yet, as adults, we convince ourselves that if we fail a few times, it means we should give up. We take failure personally. But failure is never personal, it's just information. It's a signal that something needs to be adjusted. Look at the most successful people in the world: entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, inventors. They all have one thing in common: they failed more than the average person was willing to. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before he invented the light bulb. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. If they had let failure define them, the world would have never known their greatness. But here's the key: successful people don't just experience failure, they learn from it. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their strategy, and come back stronger. They don't see failure as proof that they're not good enough, they see it as part of the process. And this is where most people go wrong. They let failure define them instead of using it to refine them. They experience one rejection and assume they'll never succeed. They try something on once, it doesn't work, and they never try again. But the truth is, failure only defeats you if you let it. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. And the faster you learn, the faster you grow. Failure isn't the enemy, fear of failure is. Because fear keeps people stuck in their comfort zones. It keeps them from even trying. And if you never try, you've already failed. So what if you stopped seeing failure as a reason to quit and started seeing it as a necessary step forward? What if, instead of avoiding failure, embraced it? What if you understood that every failure brings you closer to success? Because every time you fail, you learn something new. You build resilience. You develop the mental toughness that separates winners from quitters. And eventually, if you keep going, failure turns into experience. Experience turns into mastery, and mastery turns into success. Most people rely on motivation to get things done. They wait for that rush of energy, that spark of inspiration, that perfect moment where they feel like taking action. But here's the truth: motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It's inconsistent. It's based on emotions, and emotions are always changing. If you only take action when you feel motivated, you will never accomplish anything great. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's about showing up day after day, regardless of how motivated you are. Because success isn't built in a single moment of inspiration. It's built through consistent, disciplined effort. So think about it. How many times have you felt motivated to start something? Maybe you got excited about a new fitness routine, a new business idea, or a new habit. You started strong, full of energy, telling yourself, this time I'm really going to do it. But then a few days or weeks later, that motivation faded. Life got in the way. You got tired. You didn't feel like it anymore. And so you stop this. This cycle repeats itself for most people over and over again. They wait for motivation, they start strong, and then they stop when it disappears. And that's why they never see real progress, because they haven't built discipline. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're bored, if you're in the mood. Discipline is about commitment. It's about deciding that your goals are more important than your temporary emotions. It's about doing what you said you would do no matter what. Look at the most successful people in any field. Do you think they wake up every day feeling motivated? Do you think elite athletes feel excited to train every single morning? Do you think successful entrepreneurs always feel energized to work on their business? No, but they do it anyway because they understand that success is a result of discipline, not feelings. Motivation is great when it's there, but you can't depend on it. If you want to achieve anything worthwhile, you need to build habits and routine that keep you moving forward regardless of how you feel. This is why systems are more powerful than motivation. A system is a structured approach to achieving your goals. It removes the need for motivation by making action automatic. For example, instead of relying on motivation to go to the gym, you create a schedule and stick to it no matter what. Instead of waiting to feel inspired to work on your goals, you set clear daily tasks and complete them consistently. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But just like building physical strength, it requires repetition. You have to train yourself to take action, even when it's uncomfortable. You have to push past excuses, push past laziness, and push past the desire for immediate gratification. Because that's another reason people fail. They chase short-term comfort over long-term success. They skip workouts because they don't feel like it. They procrastinate on their goals because scrolling on their phone is easier. They make excuses instead of making progress. But here's the harsh reality. You either suffer the pain of discipline now or the pain of regret later. One leads to success, the other leads to disappointment. The good news is, the more disciplined you become, the easier it gets. What once felt difficult becomes second nature. What once required effort becomes automatic. And over time, you build unstoppable momentum. Not because you were always motivated, but because you were committed. Because you refused to let your emotions dictate your actions. Because you chose discipline over excuses. If you want to change your life, if you want to reach your full potential, there's one thing you must do first: take full ownership of your journey. No blaming, no excuses, no waiting for someone else to come save you. Because the moment you take responsibility for where you are, you gain the power to change where you're going. Most people go through life as if they have no control. They blame their circumstances, their upbringing, the economy, their boss, their family, or even bad luck. They convince themselves that their success depends on external factors, things outside of their control. But that mindset is the biggest thing holding them back. Because as long as you believe that something or someone else is responsible for your results, you are giving away your power. The truth is, you are 100% responsible for your life. Not 50%. Not 80%. 100%. That means every decision, every action, every habit, and every belief you hold is shaping your reality. Where you are right now is the result of the choices you've made, whether consciously or unconsciously. And where you will be in the future is being determined by the choices you're making today. Some people hear this and get defensive. They say, but you don't understand my situation. You don't know what I've been through. And they're right, I don't. But here's what I do know. Life is not fair. Some people are born into privilege, others into struggle. Some face more challenges than others. But at the end of the day, it's still your responsibility to play the hand you've been dealt. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Look at the most successful people in the world. Do you think they all had perfect circumstances? No, many of them faced massive obstacles, poverty, rejection, failure, setbacks. The difference is they refuse to let those obstacles define them. They refuse to adopt a victim mindset. Instead, they took ownership. They decided that no matter what happened, they would find a way to rise above it. Taking ownership means stopping the excuses. It means recognizing that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. No one is going to do the work for you. If you want something, you have to go out and get it. It's not your boss's job to make you successful. It's not the government's job to make you rich. It's not your family's job to support your dreams. It's on you. And let's be real, taking ownership isn't easy. It requires radical self-honesty. It requires looking at your own habits, your own mindset, and your own decisions and admitting where you've been holding yourself back. It requires accepting that you are not where you want to be, not because of someone else, but because of the choices you've made. That's hard to do. But it's also the most liberating thing you'll ever experience. Because when you stop blaming, you start building. When you stop making excuses, you start making progress. Taking ownership also means owning your failures. Most people are afraid to admit when they've messed up. They avoid responsibility. They point fingers, but winners do the opposite. When they fail, they don't run from it, they learn from it. They analyze what went wrong, make adjustments, and keep moving forward. Because they understand that failure is not a reflection of their worth, it's simply feedback for growth. Ownership is also about controlling your mindset, because let's be honest, life is going to throw challenges at you. You will face setbacks, disappointments, and unfair situations. But you always have a choice. You can either let those challenges break you, or you can use them to make you stronger. You can either complain or you can adapt. You can either focus on the problem or you can focus on the solution. At the end of the day, no one else is responsible for your success. No one else is responsible for your happiness. No one else is responsible for the life you create. It's all on you. And that's not a burden, that's freedom. Because when you take full ownership of your journey, you take full control of your future. Everything you want in life, success, growth, fulfillment, is within your reach. But it all comes down to you. Believing in yourself is the foundation. Without belief, you won't take action. Without action, nothing changes, but belief alone isn't enough. You must pair it with consistency, discipline, and ownership. The compound effect of small, daily actions will shape your future. You won't always feel motivated, but discipline will keep you moving forward.